For those refugees who have returned home, reintegration has been a real challenge. And although Afghanistan has seen real and tangible progress in the last 10 years, specifically in the fields of education and healthcare, the country that these refugees have repatriated to is still one of the poorest non-African nations in the world, one that ranks 181 out of 182 on the Human Development Index, and where on average 36% of the population lives below poverty level. For refugees, it seemed to me a very natural fit. The people that I met who were displaced, and I met them in Kabul and elsewhere, told me the reason they were moving were either because of conflict, because of fear of conflict, because of loss of land or home, shelter, lack of access to basic services, or intimidation by local insurgent groups. And poetry, you will see that that's a theme that is, frankly, it's more than just a humanitarian issue. It's also a national security issue in Afghanistan. All these sort of a fast-growing, poor, young, marginalized population that's going from place to place within Afghanistan. These are exactly the kind of folks who are, vulnerable to recruitment calls from insurgent groups.
More often than not, that is the ideal situation.
We need to create an environment in Afghanistan that is conducive for the refugees to stay in Afghanistan. It does no good for somebody to voluntarily repatriate and then become an IDP inside their own country. It's not simply enough to repatriate, but people have to stay in their place of origin. And often the reasons they leave is because of lack of jobs, basic services, so on and so forth.
I wouldn't know that offhand, but we did.
For Afghanistan to have any chance to be a successful, prosperous nation down the road, I think the issue of women has to be one of the cornerstones of the future. And women have to be able to practice their legal rights without fear of retribution in Afghanistan. For refugees, it seemed to me a very natural fit.
In the back of the room, also about the solutions